Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits video. I'm Tom and you join me inside my Rivian R1S, the vehicle that replaced my Model 3 for a bit, before another vehicle of course. And that's pretty much the theme of this video. It's been just about a year since I've had a Tesla, and I want to go over what I miss, what I don't miss, and why I'm almost considering buying another one, maybe used. Let's talk about that. So as of today, it's been about 11 months and some change since I've had my Model 3. And it's been an interesting experience, a good experience. I miss some things, I don't miss some things. What I do miss is, well, first let's start with what I have. September 2024, I said the Model 3, of course. I added a vehicle to our driveway, this Rivian R1S. And I wanted something bigger, something for the family. Because cramming everyone in my Model 3 was not very feasible. And it also was, it's performance trim. So, it's the suspension is dialed in for, tight, rough, agility. Not very good for road trips if everyone's in the car because they're like, my back hurts. This is a great road tripper. Very soft suspension, 3 rows. I really wanted a vehicle with 3 rows. Even prior to getting the Model 3, I wanted a big vehicle. If those who know me on Twitter and everywhere else, I'm a big vehicle fan. Chevy Suburban. I'm getting a Suburban soon. Even though it's not an EV, I'm buying a Suburban soon because I love big vehicles. And this was my chance to get, the EV Suburban that we don't have yet. Especially 2 years ago, we didn't have. Now we have the IQ. We're getting there, but still. This is the closest I felt I could get. Electric 3-row boxy SUV, not huge like the Suburbans and Expeditions of the industry, but it still is very spacious compared to the other vehicle I was cross-shopping at the time, Model X. Same class, but much different space, mainly due to this different shape. This is big boxy. Model X is teardrop, and the Model X is fantastic car, but I need cargo space a lot. I haul stuff, we travel a lot, and cargo space, throwing all the seats down. I'm hauling wheels and tires in here all the time. I'm hauling stuff from Lowe's. Now I use the Lightning for that, thankfully, but before that, it was just this. Now I was putting everything back here. Helping people move, you name it. And I really needed something with a lot of space for hauling cargo or hauling people. And that's what this kind of came in clutch for. And not even mentioning off-roading. There is no way I was going to off-road in my 3 Performance unless I lift it and put some wheels on it. Like people have done it. It's really cool. But this is of course much more capable for off-roading and towing. I tow a lot, and I could not tow with my Model 3. I could tow with this. And again, it's been a fantastic journey going from one manufacturer to another. There was an overlap before getting rid of the Model 3 where I had this and the Model 3. So I could test both. Sound system wise, especially early Gen 2 Premium Audio, bad. My Model 3 sound system, even with all the rattling and everything, it's old and everything, it was still fantastic. And that was, its advantage hugely was the sound system. And that's one of the biggest things I miss. Sound system here is better than it was before, obviously, but it's still not great. It's still not Tesla level yet. Another thing that I kind of miss, but also kind of notice, really just something I noticed I haven't used anymore. Native NACS. I haven't had a NACS car since I sold the Model 3 back in May of last year. I have a universal wall connector, so it's NACS, connector with the actual adapter that I can use on the Lightning and R1S. So the other day I unplugged it accidentally and took the NACS part out, and I'm like, oh, I haven't used this in like a year. And it's funny because with adapters and supercharger access, apart from the inconvenience of the short charging cables on V3 superchargers, I'm fine with the adapter. It's fine. Even R1s are starting to have native NACS now. Great. I'm not opposed to having CCS with an adapter. It's fine. One extra step, connect it, it's good. I keep my adapter right here. in the door, easy. Now, again, you do have to think about the inconvenience of the cables, though. You got to park, take an extra spot in a supercharger. You got to park diagonally, hop the curb. Many things you got to do, unless you're in a V4 that has a long enough cable. And so, NACS isn't the deal maker or breaker it used to be. Adapters have made it so much easier. I even waited till adapters came out for Rivian, and soon after Ford actually became first, I believe, Ford and then Rivian, gaining supercharger access. But I waited for that before I got them, because one of the things that harmed the Lightning specifically when it first debuted was its charging, because most people could only charge the Lightning like EA and stuff like that, and unfortunately most EAs back then were not good, and so people were turning their Lightnings like, it charges bad, it's terrible. But it was just the charging stations, not the truck. The Lightning with supercharger access, phenomenal. It's, up again, apart from the cable length issue, I don't know the difference. It's fine. So, and not having a NACS car really hasn't been a problem for me. Apart from just, doing a little bit extra work of making sure I park correctly at the charger, not too bad. Now, apart from that, you gotta think about the obvious things for autonomy. It's a big thing in today's industry. I'm not a big user of ADAS systems, so I'm not a great gauge for it. However, I have tested them extensively just out of, the nerd side of me. So, before I get into that, I had the R1S from September going on to the May of the next year, May 2025, when I sold the Model 3 and replaced it with the F-150 Lightning. So now I've had three very different classes of car. So, sports sedan, 3-row SUV, and now full-size pickup truck. All electric, all three of them. And so I get to see how EVs are in many different form factors, and honestly, it's been pretty good. And the truck, going from the truck to the 3 was, from the 3 to the truck, I should say, was pretty funny. It's big guy. I have a bed finally. I have exportable power finally. I can tow even more than the Rivian R1S. And it's compatible with all these different things. I was, people are always kind of concerned about, buying EV from a legacy automaker. And I actually liked that it was using a legacy automaker's design, the existing ICE F-150 turned into an EV, means all F-150 parts, accessories-wise anyway, and other parts too, fit the truck. I could put regular F-150 wheels on it, and I plan to put some on it. Bed stuff, mirrors, you name it. Like, most of the parts that aren't, Lightning designed, which is only a few parts, the front, the headlights, the bumper maybe. Apart from that, most of it is just F-150 parts. That's so good. And that was my favorite part about this truck, is that I can just get accessories for it whenever I want and not have to pay, the tax of having, a boutique made part for, a special vehicle. Like a Rivian specific accessory is going to be pretty expensive because it's made just for that car. Whereas F-150 is, the world's largest selling pickup truck. So, not America's largest selling pickup truck. So, of course, there are going to be millions of different accessories, including the same accessory made by millions of other people. So, that's been good. Now, getting back to my tangent, ADAS. So, I use FSD in my Model 3, of course. I hadn't used it very often, but I made sure to just keep up to date with it and test it enough to where I was both aware of it and its limitations and what it's really good at. And also, just seeing how well is it doing on hardware 3. We lost radars, for example, and vision base was getting kind of sketchy at times in my Model 3. My MCU was lagging so hard to the point where it would just flat out freeze when driving and shut off and restart very often. And that was a bit concerning. But FSD itself was okay. Again, I don't use ADAS enough to really, care much. R1S up until tomorrow, or even today, as of this recording, at a free trial of Autonomy Plus, which is the kind of new driver assistance suite for Rivian. And recently got universal hands-free driving. They're working on point-to-point, and it's been great. I have Blue Cruise on the Lightning, and that I believe that trial expires at some point in May when I got the truck. I think it expires a calendar year afterwards. Unfortunately, I couldn't use it much because 2 months after buying it, the Lightning got hit by a Dodge Ram, who would have guessed, and it damaged the front sensors. I then could not use any ADAS apart from lane keep, not even traffic aware or adaptive cruise control. That was even gone. So from that point, in fighting with, the insurance, didn't want to do that whole drama situation, I couldn't use Blue Cruise for, from August to the end of February this year. That was a huge chunk of my ownership, so I haven't really had the chance to use Blue Cruise. Several road trips I couldn't use it, or I just took the Rivian because I couldn't use it. So I haven't gotten a huge gauge on it, unfortunately. I do plan to give it some tests. I have been testing it a few times, even just today going to work. I tested on the way on the highway, on the Florida 417 and the 408 and the I-4, which are really crazy highways. Good stress test because Florida drivers are crazy. But I do hope I can try it at least some more before it expires next month. I wish I got my full year out of it, but stuff happens. And I've been considering even looking at a comma. And with this expiring and that expiring, getting 2 harnesses for this and that, and comma between the two, just get one comma and just alternate whenever I need it. That's a possibility. But again, even since I had my Tesla, I don't use ADAS too much, so I would not be inconvenienced if it's gone. The non-subscribed suite of Autonomy for Rivian, for example, are still pretty good. And honestly, I might not even know the difference. The Lightning, I'll just use adaptive cruise control. That's fine. Lane keep will keep me from, departing the lane, but I could just keep my hand on the wheel. It's good. With that in mind, Tesla ADAS is definitely better, but it's not a huge deal to me. So moving from a Tesla in that regard, I'm good. So with ADAS and speakers and everything like that, charging out the way, there's also different ways you interact with the vehicle. The infotainment is a huge part of these vehicles and how you interact with it and control it and enjoy it and things like that. All three of these vehicles have 3 different ways of infotainment. I was not a fan of the Teslas, unfortunately. It looks fine, it looks great. However, the lack of a driver display, you can only get that in the Model S and X, which are gone. So now it's just 3 in Y and just one center screen, and that kind of sucks. I love the R1S and any other vehicle I was looking at, including Model X, because they had a driver display. I didn't like that I had to look to the right to look at my speed and things like that. So having everything right here, a lot better. Behind the wheel, glance down, glance up. I wish Rivian would do a heads-up display. That would be a perfect addition to this and fits for the price category it's in, honestly. I'd even say R2 should have a heads-up display, but, But the UI is much different between Tesla to here, and then you have to do a sync in the Lightning, which you've seen my video on that too, I'm sure. If not, go check it out. The video on how sync is very laggy, and I hope they do some reworking on it to make it more modern. But unfortunately, that might need different MCU and things like that, and it's fine. It gets the job done, just maybe a bit slowly. Rivian's entertainment's been great. It's been laggy at times on my specific unit as well. Some people see it laggy, some don't. It's gotten a lot faster since an update back in maybe last October or November. I can't remember exactly, but one update pushed and it made it super snappy. First time it's been that snappy in well over a year of ownership. So that's been nice. They changed the whole cell shading thing, so they have a new UI. That was pretty much right when I got my R1S, and it's been great. UI is very intuitive. Only thing I don't like is the music being on the right side. That's just a little nitpicky thing, but I believe they're going to make that change and move it over, or pick which side it is, when they bring it to parity in R1 with R2's UI. So that would be pretty good. But I think out of the three vehicles, I definitely prefer the Rivians most. Now, I do like the modern Tesla UI. I say that because my Model 3 was too old to get that one, where it has, the full-size screen, full-size car on the screen. You can turn around, stuff like that. I couldn't have that. I had whatever previous version that was, but it got the job done. It was also getting laggy because it was getting old, but it's fine. It was pretty good. Apart from UI, build quality. Now, I had an early Model 3, and we all know just early Tesla build quality in general, especially their mass market ones, early 3, early Y, were not the best, I think mine included. Now, thankfully, mine was one of the better examples of a 2018 unit, but it was still pretty, yeah. This car, fantastically built. Now, before the better sound system update, 0 rattles or squeaking. It was fantastic. Then they updated the sound system a few months ago, and there's bass now. But since there's bass now, all the panels that were designed for the poor sound system are now being rattled like crazy because there's actual bass now. So hopefully they can adjust that maybe during, rolling production changes, hopefully. But I mean, build quality, look and feel, so much more premium than the Tesla. Even the Model X, which is at the same price category, this feels much more premium. It looks more, look at this, it looks premium. It's a premium car interior, and I was hoping Tesla would do that. And it's premium in some ways, but it's very minimalist, and you can just feel the plastics aren't as good. This is great. The Lightning, ironically, feels really well built because, it's Ford. They know how to build cars. It feels so well built compared to my Model 3. It was hilarious. Although it's a lower trim, I think if you compare it to Tesla, I think it's a cheaper look and feel. However, it feels pretty premium because it's just built tightly. I just have basic seats, basic doors. It's fine. Basic dash, but it gets the job done. And that interior, I don't have to care about too much because the truck interior, I can throw tools in it, throw equipment in it. Who cares? It's a truck. And so, but the build quality has been great. And then there's also exterior build quality, panel gaps. There are some pretty big panel gaps in the Model 3, but still is a better example than most. There is only one major panel gap on my R1S, and it's the pillar way back there. I'd show you, but unfortunately I can't get back there at the moment because of all the stuff I got in here. It is very, it's kind of misaligned. The trunk is straight and the pillar is straight, but for some reason there is a very big gap. And I don't know where the gap comes from, but everything closes tightly, and I'm afraid if they do adjust something else will become crooked and maybe make that side look crooked. But as long as everything's functional, I'm fine. The Lightning, pretty tight. The front is like a bit misaligned where the light bar is not matching the headlight, or continue with the headlight a bit. But apart from that, it's good. Build quality is a big thing for EV owners, just because that's what, it's a big thing for all cars. You gotta make sure it's built well. And even Tesla has improved hugely. If you buy a new Tesla now, it's worlds better than what I had. Worlds better. I've had multiple experiences with new 3, new Y, S, and X, Cybertruck, but Cybertruck build quality has been a bit hit or miss from what I've tested. But even that's better than my old 3. But it's good. Build quality is good. And I haven't really noticed a difference. If anything, I've upgraded build quality going to my Model 3. So that's most of the things I've noticed from, going from my Model 3. And what I want to kind of close on is, would I buy another one? That's a tough question. Not because I don't want to buy one. I miss my Model 3 so much. And I consider looking at getting another Tesla pretty often. Would I replace these cars with a Tesla? I don't think so. But I'd like to add it back if I could. Or if anything, if I find my old 3 somehow for sale again, I'd just go and buy that one. Or buy another, really cheap used one off of like CarMax or something, or Carvana, or anywhere for dirt cheap, high mileage. That's fine. They're EVs. They're made for it. And just, have some fun with it. I do miss some aspects of Tesla. So I've been considering looking at getting like another used one, maybe not anytime soon. Suburban is my priority, unfortunately. But who knows? Maybe sometime soon I could look at getting back into a Tesla, and I'd love to. But we'll see. But 1 year with no Tesla, I was pretty concerned that I'd run into a lot of issues. I was kind of scared I'd run into a lot of issues going from Tesla to something else, or going from, Tesla and one something else to no Tesla at all, because I was able to have, as a backup and things like that. Now I've had no Tesla for a year, and it's been fine. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you have, multi-EV household with different manufacturers? Are you all Tesla, no Tesla? And if you've previously owned a Tesla, what do you miss from it, or if anything at all? And do you want to get one again? I kind of I've been looking at like used Ys and stuff. Those are not very good Ys. I didn't like how those handle when I drove them, but just like some old Tesla again, even the old Model S, I love those. I90 Surge Model S I drove. That was great. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you like your Tesla or your previously owned Tesla? Would you want it back? I kind of want mine back. So let me know. Thanks for watching. Thank you for struggling with me as I return to having my voice back after a cold. But let me know what you guys think, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day.